What up, good people? The song might have got it right. Let's see what's going on here. Hold on real quick. Give me 1 second. Can y'all hear me? That's still weird. Give me 1 second, y'all. Give me 1 second, y'all. There we go. All right. There we go, good people. That song might have got it right, man. I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to StreamYard, but practice makes perfect. So at the end of the day, man, way to get it right, song. Did y'all hear her? She said, "You don't know what you're doing. That's where you're right when it comes to StreamYard. But anyway, man, sorry about the wait, man. As y'all know, here locally, I don't know if this thing was streamed to where the general public has got a hold of it yet, but here locally in Louisville, there was an interview that was dropped by Grandmaster Jay, and he did an interview with the guy by the name of Maxwell Mitchell. Everybody in my city is pretty much familiar with Maxwell Mitchell and his role that he's played here in the Louisville protests as far as breaking news and doing a bunch of other things. It's been quite confusing, if you ask me. But at the end of the day, I just want to say, man, Grandmaster Jay, he's coined the phrase, or recoined the phrase. It was already a slogan in the phrase. It's chess, not checkers, and that's exactly what it is. I apologize for the wait, folks, but basically what I've done tonight is I'm basically playing chess with these people. I can't go into everything as far as my Grandmaster Jay package, but what I want to do is I just want to give y'all a little introduction of what's going on here in Louisville. And eventually I'm going to come back with all the proof and all the details. But right now, what I want to do is I want to break down a few things for you guys to understand so y'all can comprehend exactly what's going on and what exactly my issue is with Grandmaster Jay and where the attention and stuff started at. So at the end of the day, I want to play something for y'all. I want to play something. I'm going to play something because here in Louisville, who wasn't inspired by this? When it comes to the NFAC, I'm just going to show you a few pictures. Who wasn't inspired by this? If you was black, you pretty much had to be inspired by this. I mean, when you see this situation, when it comes to the NFAC, as a black person that was going through what we're still going through to this day, but we was going through injustice happening all over the country. The NFAC. We seen what appeared to be our big brothers as you watch these people. These people seem to have structure. They seem to have a goal. They seem to have an agenda, and their agenda was being our big brothers and helping us reach the finish line of equality. So again, my question is, who wasn't inspired by this? Because I know I was. I was inspired by it. I can say I was. I truly was. And then being a person that lives in Louisville, Kentucky, and having a front row seat to the city that they was coming to protect us with the incident that we had going on as far as Breonna Taylor. I was truly inspired, and I thought just for a second we was going to get justice. I thought just for a second white supremacy was going to finally, for the first time in my life, take a knee to black people. And it wasn't about black supremacy. It was about just black equality. And I felt like white supremacy was going to take a knee. So I definitely was inspired by Grandmaster Jay and NFAC when I first heard about them and started seeing pictures of them all over the internet, because it was sheer inspiration. And I would be lying to you to say that I wasn't inspired, because as a black person, I think we often look for heroes and we often look for help, because we live a life from childhood all the way to manhood until we die, wanting somebody to step in and help us with what this white world is doing to us and what white supremacy is doing to us. So at the end of the day, I just want to say I truly was inspired by Grandmaster Jay. I studied them. I watched them. I made sure I had a front row seat to them every chance I had an opportunity to see what was going on with that and what could I learn from them. But what I learned from them is Grandmaster Jay was a fraud. He was working with the people here in Louisville, Kentucky, in my opinion, white supremacy, the government, the higher ups, and he sabotaged the Breonna Taylor case purposely. What I like to do is play a few clips for y'all that shows, my front row seat and shows y'all exactly what I had going on with Grandmaster Jay. But like I said, I was truly inspired. But the question is, would have I been inspired if would I would have still been inspired if I would have seen this verse? These are the questions I have to ask. Hold on, give me 1 second. The question is, would I would have been inspired, and would you would have been inspired if you would have seen this verse? Give me 1 second. Let me unmute this, please. Hold on, give me 1 second. Like I said, I'm new to this. If I'm going to, hold on, give me 1 second. If I'm playing this off the screen, am I going to unmute this? Unmute the screen? If I'm playing it off right, because this ain't got no sound.
You didn't share the screen yet, did you?
No, I didn't. So share it first. Here?
Yeah. No.
No, I'm not going to do that. Give me 1 second, folks.
Go back to the stream.
Okay. Give me 1 second, folks. Give me 1 second. But no, the question remains, would we have been inspired if we would have seen this verse? I don't think it's going to let it play like that, but we'll see. We both learning how to work the StreamYard account, y'all.
NYC, Philly, DC, VA, down south in the dirty, out on the West Coast, or in the
Question is, after we seen everything that the TV and the news advertised about this man, would we have been inspired if we seen this first? What would we would have thought about him if we would have seen this first? This is 6 years before he came to Louisville. This is the type person he was, and this is what he was into, which, if you ask me, this in itself is another lie and another gimmick. So he's the grandmaster of gimmicks, if you ask me. Just check this out.
Ohio Valley, it doesn't make a difference. Hip hop is worldwide, whether you DJing, MCing on the mic, or just being a B-boy or a B-girl. Now that I got that shit out the way, I got two things I want to say. Big shout out to Super Ears and Skrilla for again putting this shit together. Y'all give them a round of applause. Two brothers trying to make something happen for you. Now, this is like a movie. In our last episode, I came through this motherfucker about a year ago, and we had a good time. But then I did some shit that pissed all you motherfuckers off, especially the DJs. So, many motherfuckers have been trying to get me to talk about that shit. I ain't had shit to say because I'm paid. I don't owe you no fucking explanation. All right. That's real talk. That's business. That's not personal. However, in the spirit of hip hop, I've enjoyed this past year doing something that I told y'all to do last year. Sponsoring every fucking event that I've gone to. Putting my money behind every event that I've gone to. Just like tonight. This is my motherfucking money that made this happen. And I'm glad I could do it for y'all, and I love y'all for that shit. I think y'all great with the people. Y'all deserve that shit. Real talk. I'm not trying to be out. I'm telling y'all some real shit. However, I didn't come to give a speech. I did that before. I didn't come to give you knowledge. I did that before. I can see what a lot good that did. And I didn't come to share any wisdom with you. I did that before, and apparently that shit didn't work either. So the only thing I can do is take it back to the old days where we just perform. You know what I'm saying? Real fucking hip hop. Now let me say what I said before. How many people in here got cable? Make some noise. If you got cable or dish TV or some shit like that. If you want to watch the news, you turn on the news channel. If you want to watch violence and all that shit, you turn on a premium channel. If you want to watch some reality show motherfuckers act stupid, then you watch them channels. The point I'm making is you change the channel depending on what the fuck you want. Why is hip hop stuck in the strip club? Period. Hip hop is on the same fucking channel. There are over 100 people in this room and no two of you are alike. So why does every MC sound like every other MC? I don't even want to call them MCs. I can't do it. Chief, I can't do it. I can't do it. Every rapper, I'm sorry, they call themselves artists, sound like every other artist. You know why? Because you're afraid to be yourself. You think that if you be yourself, ain't nobody gonna buy your shit. You think if you be yourself, the labels ain't gonna fuck with you. That's what you thinking. Let me shatter that for you. It's not the labels who buy your music. It's the people who buy your music. And depending on my mood, your song might be the message that makes my day. So make that shit. You want to talk about love, talk about love. You want to talk about knowledge, talk about knowledge. You want to talk about religion, talk about religion. You want to be funny, motherfucker, be funny. But everybody ain't bald. And everybody woman ain't out cheating on you. And every nigga ain't packing like that. And every nigga ain't got it like, every nigga is not like that. So while we hear all these songs and they call it a hip hop, how the fuck a pop record get nominated for the hip hop song of the year? And the pop record. So they fucking with y'all because they know that they got all y'all stuck on the same channel. Yeah. So let me ask a question. Where my real hip hop fans at here? Can y'all make some noise? Real hip hop fans. I'm talking about hip hop heads that go back to like 1990. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about all my Wu-Tang, Mob Deep, you know what I'm saying? Goody Mob. I'm talking about like back when hip hop was hip hop. You know what I'm saying? When Jay and Nas had a real beef and expressed it on the mic, get yourself a gun, nigga. You understand what I'm saying? The Lost Boys, you know what I'm saying? When DJs took pleasure in playing this shit. So tonight we gonna do real hip hop. And it ain't gonna sound nothing like none of the shit that you heard before. And on this stage tonight, I am going to do something that has never been done anywhere in hip hop, period. You bunch of niggas is copycats. I pray to God, literally, that you imitate what I'm about to do. Because that's what's wrong with y'all. You won't use your imagination. Fuck what you heard about me, I'm the real deal. And by the way, for all my haters who are my elevators, I love all y'all. Let me tell y'all something. Haters are nothing but fans in denial. They love me, and I love y'all too. Hey, keep on hating, because the more you hate, the bigger I get. Love that shit. That's real fucking talk. Now let's get down to business. I brought some of my friends with me, because y'all know I don't travel alone. You know what I'm saying? Got some MCs, some singers, some promoters. And by the way, for my DJ fans, stop talking to me about champions and shit. You see this man right here who took the time out from his schedule to come peep this shit out? This is the first DMC World DJ Champion. I'll give it up for my man DJ Cheese up in this bitch. Cheese was so phenomenal when he did his thing that they changed the fucking rules. So what I'm saying is when you do something that changes the game, then you have made your name in the Hall of Fame. Not the Hall of Fame that they're gonna give you down the street, the Hall of Fame inside of our minds. So let's go and get into a little bit of hip hop. My man Skrilla in the building, you know what I'm saying? Super ears, y'all asked for this shit. So y'all wanna see a real hip hop show for a change instead of that same old bullshit? I mean, y'all really want to know what an old hip hop show looked like back in the day? Can we have an old school hip hop show for real, for real? All right, number one. I'm gonna get y'all. We about to have a little clinic right here. Number one, you gotta have a theme. This is some bullshit right here.
This is not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of the annual purge sanctioned by the U.S. government.
Get him off the
Weapons
stage.
Class 4 and lower have been authorized for use during the purge. All other weapons are restricted. Government officials of ranking 10 have been granted immunity from the purge and shall not be harmed. Commencing at the siren, any and all crime, including murder, will be legal for 12 continuous hours. Police, fire, and emergency medical services will be unavailable until tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. when the purge concludes. Blessed be our new founding fathers and America.
Don't he look just like a little weirdo that be on their YouTube channel? Don't they look alike? I think this is the weirdo's daddy, y'all. I think we got something going on here. I think he's the little weirdo's daddy, man. Just look at him, y'all. Same movements and everything.
A nation reborn. May God be with you all.
So you've been here before. You know what this is. For your disrespect. For your amnesia. For your sake. Now witness the original. The world's first DJ MC. And may God have mercy on your soul after this. Because I know he will. You are in the presence of the Grand Imperial DJ Prince. The one, the only, the original Grandmaster Jay.
Now let's take this shit back. See, y'all thought I was a DJ. I started off as a rapper. Microphone mercenary, boy, and among the rap niggas. Microphone mercenary, boy, and among the rap. Now let me put a little MC on this shit. When I began to spit, motherfuckers couldn't know where to fit. Master Jay finally up in this place. You wanna taste? If y'all ain't for real, get the fuck on my face. My arms wide as the floor. I'm sweating like a body blade. My back dick on your face with the power of rage. No limits, strictly beats, the break streets. Hard lines, original niggas shine. Small fry, can't see the rebate times the day. Steady walking out running, but y'all ain't saying nothing. Gun blast from Machiavelli. Kill a fire from the muzzle. Who wants some trouble like your mom? I didn't care. It's gonna bring me along. I got you down some ways.
I'm just scared. We still not trusting him. But he put truly put it. This is real him right now. Damn artist. Right. Only gonna take some.
This is your retribution. As if an antichrist was the final solution. Militant mind, certified lies. Honey's hot in the witch niggas can't resist your love. That tough shit.
Out a way to end the beef between him and Tahaga Bay, the Morse World TV clown. I think they should have a rap battle to see who's the most trashiest rapper in the country between the two of them. A full-fledged rap battle. I'm gonna try to set it up, y'all. Hold that.
Mercenaries, you know the jobs under all and take the ribbon and rob, leave a million in the ditch. I'm burning rhymes, executing them seeds for committing a crime. Microphone mercenary, boy.
That potato, you go.
Y'all ain't heard it again. I am the microphone mercenary, boy. Rap niggas.
But good drink, but good drink.
Mercenary, boy. Rap niggas. This song was done in 1999.
Who y'all got? GMJ or Tahaga Bay? Who y'all got in the rap battle, man? Who y'all got? Y'all got Longface, Mr. 8 Mile himself. That's his nickname, 8 Mile, man. His face is 8 Mile long. Who y'all got? Longface, Tahaga Bay? Or y'all got GMJ?
Let me go a little something from last year. Let me introduce y'all to 2MC. No, man, get your ass up. Let's do this shit for real. I got money, so we're gonna talk about money. Okay, let's go. They all know how much money I got. They want to know how much money I got. Right? You got, God. We're going to talk about money, right? So we're going to talk about paper. Of course, paper. Paper. We see the paper. All about the paper. Shit. My team got paper. All about the paper. Oh, yeah, it's paper. My name is paper. One with paper. I get paper. We see the paper. All about the paper.
Short bus, y'all. Short bus.
With the world, slavery days, flavor, her mama laid the her mama made that dog today. On the day, or on the day, you know what the fuck my daughter say. My best friend real with my mama say. Jordan came if you walk away. Lady damn, say where you stay. Trying to ball, who trying to pay? Like damn, no time to play. You niggas understand what I'm trying to say. Stop, what's it up, stop? They want, but that's what I'm not. The team, so fucking be dropped. If it ain't for fucking my shot. Yeah, my way, I won't let it drop. Get paid for only get dropped. The fans, this is the hot. Why in the place to pull up the spot? Why I'm running up losing my mom? And you pull up, don't pull it, get dropped. Now it's the point that your coopy get popped. And the other finish, you go to the club and say, oh, nigga, see me. What you all about the paper? My team got paper. All about the paper. You hear my name, paper. My name, paper. It's the one with paper. I'm telling the paper. God, you see me, paper. All about the paper. Let's get it. Me and my team got paper. I'm all about the paper. You hear my name, paper. My name, paper. Here we go. This dude makes me hustle. Got some shit you got with those fresh family knows. My squad is all you know. She's still taking presidential. My whole crew presidential. My so deep, I fuck me. All the car, fit the middle, shot free. So high, I don't care. From the earth to the moon, I guess that's it. You see me paper, Y'all already know, man. Hold on. Stop. Fall back. Fall back. It's time for this shit. It's time for this shit. I need y'all to fall back. Oh, yeah. I need y'all to fall back. Okay. You wanted to see it, here it is. So, here's the problem, y'all. The problem is, stop that for a second. When I tell you to hit that fucking button, because these days,
He's about to play my favorite banger, y'all. Y'all get ready. For all the Christian people, get ready to go wild, man. This one's for y'all.
Anybody can be a DJ with a fucking laptop.
So, what up?
I'm gonna ask a question. And I'm dead serious what I'm about to ask you. And you've never seen what's about to happen up in this place. And it should happen here at the hip hop conference. Because this is where real hip hop comes to parlay. If you believe in God or some form of a higher power,
okay,
make some noise for Grandmaster Jay in this room. If the person next to you didn't say nothing, you should move from beside them because they are devil worship. I'm keeping it 100, and we about to get grown up and serious in here. So I'm gonna do it one more time because it ain't for me. It's for the person, the entity that created you. If you believe in God, make some noise one.
He believes in God. Look at his shirt.
Time in here. The problem is this.
That's the skull of Jesus on his shirt, y'all. Just in case y'all didn't know, that's Jesus.
The reason that gospel hip hop cannot blow up in hip hop is because they are not.
Pay attention that he's representing Christianity right here, y'all. He's a big time Christian in this video.
Us. And the reason we can't blow up with them because we're not them and they think we're just a bunch of thugs, whores, pimps, and so forth. There's a major divide there. The problem is only we can talk to us because we broke us, so only we can fix us. What I'm about to demonstrate to you is something that has the gospel world wondering, why the hell can't we do that? And I'm about to show you something that already has the blogs and all the magazines talking. As I illustrate this, I want to thank my man Young Jeezy for allowing me to do this, because without him, I wouldn't have been able to do it. So y'all get into this and then we'll see. Your part in this song is real easy. You'll catch it before it's all over. That's the purpose of hip hop. If you're a real Christian, you will find out that this song is to hip hop. Let me educate and elevate
Christians.
each and every one of you.
More swirl.
Real Christian.
What up?
2014. You feel me? You feel me? Cheese, you feel me? You feel me? Y'all got all the lyrical ability in the world, but you wasted it. And that's why the kids is lost. That's why the families is broke. That's why we all jacked up. So let me see if I can help show you the blueprint of how it should be done. Grandmaster Jay.
Get your Jay-Z on.
2014. You all right? Let's see how this goes.
Haircut, y'all. Haircut.
I'm a real Christian, and I don't like rappers. I'm a real Christian, and I don't like rappers. I'm a real Christian, and I don't like rappers. I'm a real Christian, and I don't like rappers. Yeah, I'm a real Christian, living by the law. I'm rapping cats thinking don't apply, y'all. I got a couple of verses that'll fix that. I got some 316 and a book of Acts. Yeah, I'm about your mind, but I don't want to hear me. Me, I'm up in the bless, like don't you come in it. But you ain't never seen a Christian like me. I'm with the devil, so you challenge me. Ain't no conviction code. I strike your very soul. See, I'm much too controversial for you to know. Now I will, but thy will be done on earth as it is. That's why I had to come. You got some prideful mind. With your envious heart, really focus on the fall from the very start. Now nobody's flexing me to fix your face. It ain't about you in the first place.
Let's go. Cause I'm a real Christian.
I'm a real Christian, and I don't like rappers. Y'all ain't funny yet. I'm a real Christian, and I don't like rappers. I'm a real Christian, and I don't like rappers. I'm a real Christian, and I don't like rappers. I knew you out of sin. Phones ringing, Jesus knocking, better let him in.
Let's go.
Not be passing, trying to destroy. Why you think getting signed is a path to glory? Y'all ain't even know it. Y'all yourself important. Don't you know when young people in first place come listen to me? I'm not trying to be the sin police. Other than that, you fake writers put down your life. I speak copy people and even get the weeds. Get the listen to me. For my people. But I'm so mad, and I'm so mad. I am so fat with the true word now. You don't, and if you're lost, he'll need to bring you back home. Yes, let my people go. Fears got you frozen. Don't you know for days born, days already chosen? Y'all know this thing, sing it with me. I'm a real Christian, and I don't like rappers. Somebody say what you got. I'm a real Christian, and I don't like rappers. For my DVD, I'm a real Christian, and I don't like rappers. I'm a real Christian, and I don't like rappers. This is what we need to be doing to talk to the lost kids out there. The gospel can't talk to us. We are real hip hop. Y'all make some noise if you love this.
All right, man. I hope y'all enjoyed the concert, man. But that right there was one of the flat out most funniest, horrible thing I ever seen done in the name of Jesus, y'all. But what I want to do, man, we're gonna have a little fun on here. Let me get back to it real quick. Let me get back to the hold on, give me 1 second, y'all. Let me get this sorted out real quick. Let me get back to StreamYard. Hold on, where's it at? It's right there.
Where's the mouse?
Pull it over there real quick. Hold on. They freezing me up real quick, y'all. Hold on. They freezing the computer up. This is what they do. But look, man, that right there by far was one of the funniest things I ever seen. As far as in Jesus' name, I mean, it was flat out terrible. It was blasphemy, if you ask me. But I can only wonder what would have happened if the world would have got a hold of that situation before they turned him into what we thought was a black leader, what we thought was on the same on the same level as a Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, and so many other great black leaders that's walked this earth. They put this man, as far as media, in a position to be mentioned with the greats, y'all. But what would us, the black people of this country, of the city of Louisville, what we would have done if we would have seen that, folks? If we would have seen that this man was 100% a fraud, just a flat out fraud. At the end of the day, I want to say this. I know for a fact if I would have seen that video, I'm not going to say I wouldn't have gave him a chance, but it would have been a major red flag for me. He wouldn't have been flat out looked at as one of the best leaders ever. If I would have seen that video, I never would have gave him the opportunity that I gave him, because that right there was about as fraudulent as it gets when it comes to being a Christian, being a rapper. And then I'm looking at this man like, is this a joke or is he dead serious? But I can see that he was just running a scam on the people, and he was 100% comfortable with it. And he is a very, very great actor. He got into character for this. He got in character for this whole being the leader of the black culture. This is what this man does. He got in character when it came to, is this ready? He got in character. They didn't froze this up. He got in character when it came to being a politician, y'all. A lot of y'all might not know this, but they allowed this man to run for president, y'all. To run for president. This man actually went out and convinced people that he had what it took to be president. Now, I know the bar appears to be a little bit low because our last few presidents, or because of every president that I've ever seen in my lifetime, starting with, Clinton when I was old enough, or the first Bush when I was old enough to realize what a president was, and then transitioning into Clinton, and then going into George Bush II, and then, going into Obama, and now we went into Donald Trump, and now Joe Biden. The bar seems to be pretty low when it comes to being the president of the United States, but to know that a person like Grandmaster Jay was able to put his name on a ticket and then get the support of some people and actually raise money, it's mind-blowing. It's scary. It's 100% scary of what happens in this country and the fact that the people can be lied to. But the fact that this man didn't become president, they fed him to us. And he had that on his resume, and it looked good until we actually start doing our research on this man and found out that this man is 100%, 1,000% fraud. And then to see him make his appearance before my city today, he gave an interview with Maxwell Mitchell. Y'all check it out. I'm trying to play it, but they froze up the computer right now. So I'm having to talk to y'all instead of showing y'all these things. But you said what?
Whenever you're ready. I don't know why something's wrong with it, but I can do it whenever you're ready. Just let me know.
That's cool. I'm ready. I'll play it for him. At the end of the day, folks, he's 100% a fraud. So what I want to do is I want to play some video. Play the first video that showed the pictures. I'm going to play this first video, and we're going to get a breakdown on this Grandmaster Jay thing. Like I said, they're messing with the computer right now, but it's all good. It's what they do. But we're going to play this first video. I want y'all to check this out. Yeah. Like I said, the NFAC is here in town in Louisville. They taking formation. As you can see, they are armed with big guns. Big guns. These people have a lot of structure. A lot of structure to them. I'm down here to
to witness what it's like to be structured as black people. These are black people when they are structured. That was an accident that happened earlier, but accidents happen when dealing with guns. Accidents happen in the military. Accidents happen with the police. Accidents happen on the streets when dealing with guns. So accidents happen. But these people are structured.
Politics.
Say your name. Will never allow.
Now this right here, this clip, the clip that y'all just watched was me. As y'all can see, I had a front row seat to the NFAC. That's when they're here in Louisville, Kentucky. That was just me, and I was speaking good of them. I wanted to see what it looked like for, you know, black people to be structured, because I had been participating in a protest that was lacking structure. So me seeing the NFAC come to Louisville, I was excited about that, because for the first time in my life, I was going to get to see, you know, as far as protests, what it looks like to be structured when it comes to making a stance against white supremacy. So when Grandmaster Jay and them came to Louisville, as y'all can see in that video, I was actually, you know, I was down there to learn and watch. So I had a front row seat. I wasn't critiquing them and judging them or talking bad about them. I actually went down there, did my homework, and I studied them. What you're going to have right here, what I'm about to play, is Grandmaster Jay. He made a promise to Louisville, and he swore everybody in and basically made everybody NFC members. He didn't say NFAC. He just said NCF members, something like that. He said it wrong. But at the end of the day, you're going to see me having the front row seat. I watched all of this stuff. And then after I had my front row seat, 3 different occasions, then I began to judge them, because I seen enough and I was able to form my opinion off the back of what I seen with my own eyes and what I heard with my ears. Check this video out.
The murder of another black man, woman, or child, whether the killer is white or black. I am the NFC for life. 4 weeks from today, we gonna come back here and we should have an answer, right? If not, I need
Pause it, everyone.
right.
All right, what I want to do is
4 weeks
right here. That right there, what I just played, it was very critical to me, because this man, he promised, you can go back actually to the beginning of that. I want to play it again. He promised that he would be here for the city of Louisville through, you know, black on black crime, through police brutality. He was going to be here for the city. And what happens after this speech, y'all? The NFAC, they leave Louisville, and Louisville begins to go on the worst murdering streak that our city has ever seen. It was just a murder spree. There was people being killed all over Louisville. Little girls was being killed. Kids, teenagers, adults, black, white, everything you name it was being killed in the city. And this guy sit right here and told us that he was going to be here for us, but yet he wasn't here for us. After that, he pretty much just left. He gave this speech. He said he was going to burn the city down, which I'm about to play the next clip. And then he left this city in just a mess. Just watch.
I am the NFC for life. 4 weeks from today, we gonna come back here and we should have an answer, right? If not, I need y'all to repeat after me. If we don't get the truth, the whole truth, and the motherfucking truth, we are going to burn this motherfucker down.
What's up, man? What's up, man?
Hey, how you doing?
Thank y'all.
So as you can see, as this video is playing, I clearly had a front row seat. I'm watching the formation. I listened to him speak. You can see it was a lady that came up. She had a barbershop man. I guess it was one of my kids' parents, one of my customers that I cut's parents came up and spoke to me. I was right there, folks. I had a front row seat. So it's very important to know that before I've ever critiqued Grandmaster Jay and the NFAC, I watched them and I studied them. I even went all the way to Washington, D.C. and watched and studied them. Oh, this is the moment for me, what you're about to watch right here, where it began to be a major red flag for me. This moment right here. This is actually one of my customers and some people that I know over there. They actually get into a fight with the NFAC, and I'm looking from afar, and I recognize it's one of my customers, and the customer that's getting into it with him, I know for a fact he's a hothead, and I know for a fact he ain't gonna take no shit from them. So I'm like, I'm not running over there because it was too many guns involved, and I'm like, man, they already having those Louisville issues already. So this is where the first issue goes down in Louisville. This is after they done told us they're gonna burn this place down and all that stuff. Now all of a sudden they're getting into it with the crowd, and for me, I was like, okay, how's this gonna play out? And I started to have somewhat of a red flag about the NFAC. Just watch.
Stupid shit. Stupid shit.
That's when you get the lift. Not by
After the fight or the little scrimmage, it was like a pushing match. After that, then I captured this guy right here. I captured this guy, and then most people was just walking by this guy, making it as if this guy was crazy. But you know what? I actually stopped and I talked to this man, and I listened to what he had to say, because he was saying some things that caught my attention. And I'm not, I'm not an Israelite or anything like that, but what he was saying, it made sense, y'all. And so that became a second red flag, because he made me think about this whole militia thing. Just listen to him.
By a rifle, not by a pistol, not by putting your sister in harm's way in a militia, the army. When the definition of militia says able-bodied male. So that's how you know it's not sanctioned by the Most High. We the ISUPK, go to the One West UPK Louisville Facebook page for more information. Leave us a message. Go to the website, isupk.com. And with that said, shalom.
This is the front shot of it. So that right there, y'all, was a big time red flag, because I actually talked to that guy after I turned my camera off. Me and that guy, we actually had like a 5-10 minute conversation. He was a very cool guy, but he broke down to me how he thought that whole situation with the NFAC was wrong, and how he thought that Grandmaster Jay was a fraud. And you know what? A lot of his points that he pointed out, I agreed with him. He wasn't a person that was just throwing God out there. He actually broke down what he thought was wrong with it. And I was like, you know what? I kind of feel the exact same way now that you kind of spend it like that. I was kind of initially thinking that, but you just shed it even more light onto it, because I was actually trying to make what they was doing right, but really it was all wrong. What I'm about to do now, I'm about to play a video clip of y'all what Jefferson Square looked like after the NFAC left town. We had 5,000 to 10,000 people out there, but this is immediately after the NFAC left town. This is what it looked like. This is the front. Look at it.
What are we doing here?
Look at it. Nobody down here. Nobody. Ain't messing up no money or none of that. Look at Jefferson Square. Look at it. This is what it looked like. I'm gonna go get some shots from front to back. This is what this shit look like. This shit is terrible. This is what this shit look like.
What are we doing?
We had about 5,000 down here, leaning towards 10,000 at one point. Look at it now. Shit's crazy. So basically, the NFAC, they basically killed us out. They basically took the far out of us. They told us that, they needed 4 months to get things right, but they was going to give them 30 days. If they didn't, Daniel Cameron didn't come up with some answers within a month, that they was going to burn Louisville down. Grandmaster Jay tried to retract his statement and say he didn't really mean that. But us, the people of Louisville, the citizens, we thought that that was true. We thought he really was going to come back and burn it down. The way he said it, the way we all cheered, it was never like a joke. He said it in a very serious manner. And at the end of the day, he didn't burn nothing down. Nothing at all. Here's a picture of me and Grandmaster Jay when he came back to Louisville for the second time. So once again, y'all see I got a front row seat. I'm actually talking to the guy. I went straight up to him and spoke to this guy, and he made all his guys that were surrounding him. It's like 4 or 5 guys surrounding him. He made them stand down because they had their guns and stuff. He made them stand down, and we actually had a conversation, and this is where we exchanged numbers, and then our little conversation friendship began because we ended up speaking. It wasn't a friendship, but it was a conversation friendship because we had spoke a couple times based off us meeting right here. But I had already met with him previously a few times, but he kind of blew me off. I met him in Washington, D.C., and then I had kind of spoke to a few different members the first time when he came to Louisville to get him the information that I had as far as all the corruption in the Breonna Taylor case. So this is the third time right here, folks, when he came back to Louisville, and Angry Viking and everybody else showed up too to protect Louisville, to keep Louisville from being burnt down. So they say. Just watch. That's the picture of me and Grandmaster Jay. Once again, who wasn't inspired by that? You just look at this stuff right here. How could you not be inspired by that initially as a black person living in this world that is full of racism, and they're not doing nothing but, carrying out white supremacy agendas and oppressing us? Who wasn't inspired by that? Now what I want to play for y'all is I want to play this Facebook for y'all. Actually, no. I want to play this. So what we have is Grandmaster Jay coming back to town. Actually, I want to play this. I'm going to play this first.
About that time, man.
So once again, we have Grandmaster Jay coming back to town. And you're going to see me up close and personal, a front row seat. And excuse my StreamYard manners. I'm not good at this stuff. This is not what I do. I'm not a YouTuber. I'm getting used to this and making an adjustment because I know this is the way of the world and getting the news out to my people. So bear with the mistakes. But I promise as I grow, the mistakes and stuff will get cut out. So now he's back in town. The picture that y'all seen, that was the day before this day. This is the next day, which is considered Derby Day here in Louisville. They pushed Derby back to September. And now they're celebrating Derby. So now you're going to see me have another front row seat. So what's going on in this situation is all the protesters are down at Jefferson Square, which is considered ground zero, along with Angry Viking. And Grandmaster Jay is 15 minutes away in a park getting his soldiers ready for next to nothing. They all got ready for nothing. They went to protest Churchill Downs, and they didn't stop nothing at all. Just watch.
About that time. About that time. Grandmaster getting them lined up and assembled to where they're in platoon. Platoon type look. Looks like he's chopping them up into different segments. This right here is a powerful video. As you can see, the NFAC is making their approach to Churchill Downs now. And as you see in this video, they're making their approach towards Churchill Downs. But like I said, the race went on. They didn't stop nothing. But meanwhile, the protesters are at ground zero, and they're pretty much going at it with the Angry Viking. And they going at Angry Viking based off a scenario that Grandmaster Jay created, because he said he was going to burn down Louisville. So when he said he was going to burn down Louisville, Angry Viking and all his, white brothers and sisters, they came to Louisville to keep Louisville from being burnt down by the NFAC. But yet the NFAC is not where they said they was going to be at
when it comes to burning the city down. They're actually at Churchill Downs when they never mentioned anything about being at Churchill Downs. And I'm following the NFAC because I'm not about to go and mess with all those white boys who got all them guns by myself. I'm going to make sure I go with my brothers and sisters, which is the NFAC. At this point, that's who I was like, okay, I'm rocking with them. I'm watching them. I want to see what they do. And so at the end of the day, I followed them, but they did nothing and they never went to the action. Meanwhile, protesters and Viking was clashing at Ground Zero. Just watch. And you can see Churchill Downs in the background.
And what do we want? Justice. What do we want? Now. If we don't get it, shut it down. We don't get it,
Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down!
Justice. Justice.
Now! Now! Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down!
So that was a video clip of them at Churchill Downs doing next to nothing, y'all. I mean, they really was doing nothing. So this is a video clip of what was going on at Ground Zero, which I believe it was staged, but you're going to see what was going on at Ground Zero between Angry Viking and the protesters while Grandmaster Jay was at Churchill Downs. This was what was going on at the very exact location where he announced that he was going to burn Louisville down and where all the action had been at. This is what's going on.
We're not out here defending the actions of them fucking bad cops at all. They need justice, right? But at the same time, we can't apply the actions of just a few to everyone. I'm not here to protect your rights as well as these guys' rights. And their rights, everybody's rights. That's all I'm here to do.
So that clip right there, I want y'all to pay attention because there's something very, very important going on with that clip. And this is why I say I think it was all staged. You see the rise of the dope fiend, in my opinion, the rise of the dope fiend. And as I continue on with my show and my platform, y'all going to find out about these junkies and these dope fiends that was running the protests here in Louisville after people like myself, stepped away because I realized it was just so corrupt and people was being paid to just carry out white supremacy agendas and people with the same color skin as me. But what you see is a lady by the name of Miss Rose, which in my opinion is a junkie, which is a dope fiend in my opinion. You're going to see her going head to head with Viking. And then with her going head to head with Viking, they create a divide between the people, the protesters here in Louisville, and Grandmaster Jay, because now the protesters, they feel like, oh, Grandmaster Jay ain't got our back. He didn't show up. So what Viking them does, they tell the people that they're looking for Grandmaster Jay. And then the people are like, okay, well, Grandmaster Jay and them are not here. They at the track. And so now it looks like Grandmaster Jay's a punk. So the people in Louisville instantly stop supporting him because he didn't show up to Ground Zero. So now Viking them have done their job. They've turned the people against the NFAC. And now they gave power to the dope fiends because it was a bunch of junkies down there that was standing on the front line going toe-to-toe with Viking them. But I know for a fact that was staged. But since they was going toe-to-toe with Viking, people captured this on camera. So now you see the rise of the dope fiends. So now the dope fiends start getting the credit and they start being looked at as the leaders of the Louisville protests when these people was pretty much homeless, dope fiends, junkies, alcoholics, all the above, everything except of a true, real activist. Keep paying attention, y'all. I'm gonna rewind it just a little bit and let y'all listen.
Actions of just a few to everyone. We don't need y'all as well as these guys' rights and their rights.
That's Miss.
You don't like him either. I understand that. Okay, we don't either. We're not here against anything else.
Notice.
Listen, wait.
Notice the camera caught that conversation between Viking and Miss Rose. This is not my camera. This is another person's camera. Notice what they captured. They captured Viking telling Miss Rose, we don't like him either. So now it's established that the protesters don't like Grandmaster Jay and Viking don't like him either. So now Grandmaster Jay is the odd man out. Just watch. The NFAC is not getting the support of Louisville no more. Starting here. Just watch.
Okay, we don't either. We're not here against anything else other than that.
Listen.
Wait. You don't like him either. I understand that. Okay, we don't either. We're not here against anything else other than that. Listen, wait. The reason we were here is because we were originally at Front Park. We were then moved to South Central Park, and then we were moved down here. The whole reason they did that was to keep us and them separate. Okay?
Go down there where they at.
What's that?
Go down to Central where they at. They not coming down here. We don't need this shit.
Okay,
We don't need y'all and we
So-
don't need them. This is a place.
So you heard Miss Rose tell Angry Viking to go down to Central where they're at, which is where the horse track is, located on Central. So now it looks like Grandmaster Jay didn't show up, and Viking is acting like, well, we came here looking for them. So now Viking is making peace with the protesters, and you're going to see in other video clips that I play later on other shows when I really break this stuff down. These people start hugging Viking. They start shaking hands. I mean, it was crazy, and it was a bunch of dope fiends. I know them personally, but it was crazy. And at the end of the day, Viking ended up getting in good with the protesters, while Grandmaster Jay now became the enemy. So this is crazy, but this is what, the white supremacists do, man. They're not all about, defeating us with violence and hanging us and all that. Sometimes they can just beat us by simply turning us against each other. As you see what's going on with me, they've turned all of these so-called YouTubers and these people who claim to be activists against me. And now you see these black people going harder than the white supremacists in the comment section. When you see people hating on me, it's black people, because these white supremacists have put a bad taste in their mouth when it comes to me, and they have turned these people against me, which is sad. And they have fell for the trick of white supremacy. Just listen.
Us and them separate. Okay?
Go down there where they at.
What's that?
Go down to Central where they at. They not coming down here. We don't need this shit.
Okay,
We don't need y'all and we don't need them. This is a place of peace. We trying to have a peaceful.
So the lady that's talking right there, once again, is Miss Rose. And in my opinion, she's clearly a dope fiend. She's clearly someone that is abusing a few different things. And I got the proof, and I'll show y'all in other shows when I get to the point to where I'm breaking the dope fiends down. But at the end of the day, I need y'all to pay attention, because this is very key right here. This is the rise of the dope fiends and how they got people like Grandmaster Jay out the way and turned Louisville against Grandmaster Jay.
But we're gonna bounce out. We're gonna get out of your way. Get out of your way right now. We honestly, we had no clue y'all were gonna be here. We had no clue anyone else was gonna be down here. Okay?
Let's go that way. Let's go that way.
So now what I want to play is I want to play a video that's going to explain how Grandmaster Jay hasn't done his intel when it comes to Louisville. He was clearly here clout chasing, and he was clearly here because he was paid, in my opinion, to be here. And the question is, who paid him? I think I know where the money came from. This is just all my opinion. I could be wrong, but this is my theory. Tamika Palmer, which is Breonna Taylor's mother, along with her sister Bianca Austin and Sam Aguiar, they started a GoFundMe. They started a GoFundMe for Breonna Taylor legal fees, I believe that's what they was calling it. The GoFundMe was for that. And when they created this GoFundMe, the goal was $500,000. Well, they end up raising over $6.5 million. So what's that mean? They got $6 million to play with. So I think a lot of the $6 million, or a nice percentage of the $6 million, went to the NFAC because they paid people like the NFAC and Viking. They was all working together. They paid them to get this city in a frenzy and get them in a position to where they felt like, okay, we got to settle with these people or else we're going to lose this city. So Viking and GMJ was both brought here to make it look like Louisville was about to explode and there was going to be a full-fledged riot. And plus we had all the national cameras and media and everything here. And it looked like Louisville was about to get burned down for real. So I think that's what they did with the GoFundMe money. They paid both sides, Viking and GMJ, and then they squeezed the government here locally in a position to where, okay, like, all right, we got to get this money. We got to give them this money because too much is going on in the city. That's just a theory, y'all. And I got a few more different theories, but that's one that I like to put out there and let y'all think about that. So now what I want to play,
About that time, man. It's about that.
what I want to play now is I want to play a clip because this clip that I'm about to play is very, very important. Y'all need to know that Grandmaster Jay came to Louisville. Him being the person that he claims he is, which is the leader of the NFAC, he's supposed to do intel. I'm of the belief these people do next to zero intel. They know nothing about nothing other than to follow the money and to listen to what the white man is telling them to do. This clip that I'm about to play now is heartbreaking because this young lady, she came out with her statement July of last year. Grandmaster Jay and them came here after this young lady gave her statement. What you're about to listen to is a woman who talks about her experience that she had with Maxwell Mitchell. Maxwell Mitchell is the one person that GMJ let get close to him and cover him while he was in Louisville every time he came. On top of that, he gave an interview, a one-on-one interview with Maxwell Mitchell tonight here in Louisville that was streamed here in Louisville. I'm not sure if it, made it out to other cities and states yet, but it was streamed right here in Louisville tonight. Maxwell Mitchell interviewing Grandmaster Jay. This breaks my heart because Grandmaster Jay claims that he was here for the citizens of Louisville and that he was going to help protect us. Here we are, a black sister that's claiming that Maxwell Mitchell has raped her. But she's not the only person that has made this accusation. There have been other girls who made these claims, and Grandmaster Jay and no one in this city has stepped up and addressed the situation with Maxwell, potentially or possibly raping people. And like I said, she's not the only lady who's made this claim. I'm going to let y'all listen to her speak.
I'm here to address through live stream because that seems to be the tactic that a lot of people are using, particularly today, to silence the voices of survivors within our community. And so I'm going live because it's been brought to my attention that people apparently need to see my face in order to claim or take any, I guess this is proof that there are victims out there saying that there's an abuser that's been within our midst. So I'm making this video because I'm putting my face as a victim of Maxwell Mitchell. I've been coming out publicly for months, way before this movement had even started. There have been numerous claims that myself and many survivors who are out there, who have come forward, are lying. Our stories are discredited because we didn't call the police. And just to state, like I stated earlier, if you're going to be in this movement and you're going to fight for injustice and against police brutality, and then turn and look at a survivor, especially a black survivor, and say that your story is only credible if you call the police, then you shouldn't be on the front lines of this movement. I also want to say that it's also come to my attention that we have people within our community, particularly people who are advocates for survivors of sexual violence, who say that they won't believe our story or have credit to it unless we sit down with them and tell them to their face of what we experienced.
Right.
I've been an advocate for years, and I'll tell you right now that I don't need to sit down in front of anybody and have a face-to-face conversation and tell them this is what happened to me for you to believe me. I don't practice that way as an advocate. I don't appreciate anyone that practices that way as an advocate. So if you need me to sit down with you and tell you what's happened to me, or if you need my face to tell you that I'm a survivor of this person that you've been supporting, then here it is. If there's a reason that I'm not coming to you and sitting down with you and having a conversation with you about the abuse that I've experienced, it's not my problem. There's probably a reason why I don't feel comfortable or feel welcome to sit down with you in that space. But hear this, we as survivors don't have to make this video, we don't have to make posts, we don't have to call the police, and we don't have to sit down with you in order for you to know or hear us that we are survivors of sexual abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse for someone who's been live streaming in our city and been taking much credit, seen as a hero. That person's Maxwell Mitchell. You all know who it is. I'm tired of people acting like, what's going on? Sorry, I had a phone call. You all know what's going on. We've been saying it for months. This is not news. So the reason, again, that I'm making this video is because apparently this is what we have to do to call survivors out, to say you are not trusted, you are a liar because you haven't sat down with me in person. This is my face. I'm putting a face to the things that's happened to me. I don't need to sit down with you and talk to you. If you have questions about what I've experienced or questions as to why any of us are holding people accountable in this city for not listening to survivors and for silencing us, you can ask me directly. What I will tell you is that, as many people have said over the last couple of days, all eyes are on Louisville. When they say, and when I say all eyes are on Louisville, it's not just because what we're doing downtown. There are a lot of other things that are going on. There's a lot of other people in our community who are supporting abusers. And when we say that all eyes are on Louisville, we're watching you. Mm-hmm. I also want to address that no one in any way that has been supporting us as survivors has come out and physically threatened any other person. What I will say is that we have people who have threatened us. We have people who say that they're going to do this, this, and this if we want to speak up, if we want to get louder. You all, if survivors are being told that if they keep speaking up, they're going to be threatened to have either physical abuse used against them, throwing out EPOs, throwing out court, if that's the tactic people are using, then again, why do you think that we're trying to be silenced? That's not the response that you give to survivor, and that's not a response that you give as an advocate. So this is me putting my face to it. You can see my face. I'm not scared of you seeing my face. I'm a victim of Maxwell Mitchell. I will not apologize for coming public, of being a victim of Maxwell Mitchell. I'm not going to sit here and say, yeah, I didn't call the police. I am going to say I didn't call the police. Correct. But as I don't maybe have the paper proof that this happened to me, I have numerous times that I came forward and told somebody that was happening to me. And if you're going to sit there and say that you stand with women and that you believe survivors, then prove it. I'm tired of people saying that we're all eyes are on Louisville and celebrating people who have turned us down, who have silenced us, and who have not supported us. It's disgusting. And please understand, for the millionth time, you will be held accountable. This community is going to be held accountable. All eyes are on Louisville. All eyes are on Louisville. Choose the right side of history. That's it.
Choose the right side of history, y'all. Let me just say this, y'all. I can't confirm whether this young lady got raped or not, but what I can say is I believe her. I believe it 100%. Um, and I think it's sad that to this day, Maxwell Mitchell has not been addressed, not only for this young lady's rape that she's saying happened, but there's multiple people, y'all. And for some reason, Maxwell is still being able to have access to people like Grandmaster Jay and to be this public figure that's accepted by the city with these type of accusations that's out there and that's going unaddressed. This is sad, y'all. Another thing that I find extremely sad about the situation is Summer Dickerson, who is a person who is a business partner with Maxwell Mitchell. They're both under the title 502 Live Streamers, which is a business that was created for the protests, the people who control the live stream and the camera work and the storylines that's getting put out to the city of Louisville, and somewhat of the storylines that's getting put out to the rest of the world when it comes to boots on the ground here in Louisville. Summer Dickerson being a 502 live streamer along with Maxwell Mitchell, she stands with Maxwell and supports him. And Summer Dickerson, before she became a 502 live streamer, and still to this day, is a woman that claims that she does outreach, and a woman that claims that she's a victim of human trafficking, a woman that claims that she's been raped by police officers and she had nobody to tell. But she's not supporting this young lady and not standing with this woman. I find that very, very odd. And then on top of that, she's keeping a relationship with Maxwell Mitchell. Not to mention her relationship with Maxwell Mitchell dates back 5, 6 years ago. And this to me, I find to be very, very strange and very, very odd that Summer, out of all people, supports Maxwell Mitchell. I have it on record where I tried to set up an interview with Maxwell and Sam Aguiar because I felt like Max was doing great work because he was down there at the protests. He was hands-on with everything. So I'm like, listen, I want to get you in front of Maxwell. He's got a nice following. And I want you to speak before him, Sam. And Sam told me straight up, I can't talk to Maxwell because that won't be a good look for me because there are rape accusations. That's when I first found out about the rape accusations as far as Maxwell is through Sam Aguiar. And I got the text messages and the proof to prove it, y'all. So on that note, I find it weird because before this young lady came out and said anything about that, Sam Aguiar had mentioned it, or before I ran across her video, Sam Aguiar had mentioned that to me. So, but for some reason, everybody still supports Maxwell. Maxwell has access to all of these people in interviews, and I find it very, very weird. And I just wanted to point that out and play that video because what happened tonight, in my opinion, as far as Grandmaster Jay, is not acceptable. He has not done his research on Maxwell Mitchell. And as you look at this interview that I'm about to show, this was aired tonight here in Louisville. This is the interview between Maxwell Mitchell and Grandmaster Jay. And if you just look at Maxwell and you just pay attention to him, you can almost tell. Like, I don't know about y'all. I got experience with people who are rapists. A lot of y'all don't know my story. Some of y'all have heard my story. I witnessed my mom get raped at 6 years old. It was by far the worst thing my eyes and ears has ever seen and heard. And I hate to say it, but I kind of know a rapist when I see and hear one. I don't know, man. It's hard to explain, y'all. It's a weird little eerie feeling, and I get that weird eerie feeling when it comes to Maxwell. Um, I hate to put that on him, but after I heard this girl's story and I just start looking deep into him, I start getting that feeling, y'all. It's not something that I get initially on the surface, but after I start studying, I'm like, yeah, I can feel those vibes. So I just want to play this video, this interview that it was aired earlier today in Louisville between Maxwell Mitchell and Grandmaster Jay. My question is, why is Grandmaster Jay so close to Maxwell Mitchell? And why is Maxwell Mitchell being given this access to all of these people here locally, but yet he has all these accusations pending against him? All right. And these audio issues it's not me. I think these are issues that Maxwell was having with his feed. So bear with me. It should pick up at any second now. I think he had some audio issues for like the first minute or so. So I'll give it about a minute and the audio issues should pick up. Like I said, once again, my question is, why does Maxwell have access to all these people, and why is he respected in the city of Louisville when these accusations that these ladies have made against him are not being addressed? They're going unaddressed. This is unacceptable, y'all. It's just not cool. And Maxwell is controlling a lot of the narrative. Not to mention, Maxwell, he knew about the phone call between me and Sam Aguiar when Sam Aguiar called me. In fact, Maxwell was actually right there. Maxwell was right there as this conversation was being recorded. And Maxwell never told anyone about it. And I'm just not understanding it. At the end of the day, I'm of the belief that Maxwell Mitchell is working for the government. He's working for the police. I could be wrong, but I have a lot of proof that he is working for the police and the government. In fact, he's even staging events along with a few other people. These people are staging events. So on that note, I've lost all respect for him. I've lost all respect for him. Let me see if I can get to the point. This is not the one. This is not the Facebook one. You got to go to the second one. Hold on, y'all. This is not it. It's the one that's right below that one. That one's not it. Give me 1 second, y'all. Pull this up. Again, I'm new to this YouTube situation and still learning. Go to the next video down. That one right there, yeah. All right, here we go, y'all. And I'm going to get this playing for y'all. But again, the question needs to be asked. How is Maxwell getting access to these people? Is it going to show any of the value? Nope. Maybe it's on mute. Check it out. Give me 1 second, y'all. We're having some issues with the volume, but we're going to get this playing. Yeah, there you go.
Come back here and we should have an answer, right? If not,
video you're watching.
Once again, why does this man
Good afternoon and welcome to Stay Live Stream. Before we start today's interview, it's important to note that this is not a live broadcast. The interview is not live. However, I'm bringing you this video live for the hope of live discussion during the interview. But it's important to note, once again, this is a pre-recorded video you're watching on a Facebook Live.
true, we are going to burn this motherfucker down.
I want to welcome today's guest, Grandmaster Jay. Grandmaster Jay, how are you?
I'm fine, Maxwell. How are you?
I am fine, and I appreciate you taking the time to sit down with me today to discuss a few things. A few things that I've heard as far as gossip, news about you, NFAC, coming to Louisville. And as I look at today's date, it's getting close to a 1-year anniversary, actually, of July 25th, 2020, when NFAC came to Louisville last time. But what I'm hearing is that NFAC is coming with a no armed march. Is that correct?
That's absolutely not correct. Let's go ahead and clear up the rumor mill, as they say on the streets. First of all, no. The NFAC is not returning to Louisville for any type of a march or anything of that nature. You are correct. We are approaching the 1-year anniversary when the NFAC did come to Louisville on behalf of Breonna Taylor. What is going on, and I'm just a customer to the process, is that there is, from what I've been told, going to be a drop the charges rally. not just for myself, but for all those individuals who are currently embattled or embroiled, as you say, with the judicial system, and the population feels that those charges need to be dropped. Mainly, they're talking about a lot of the protesters from last year who are exercising their constitutional rights. From what I understand, that will be happening on the weekend of July 24th and on the 25th, which is the one-year anniversary. I have been invited. So I am a customer to the process. This is an invite for myself, not for the NFAC. From what I understand, this is open to everyone. This is an opportunity for the people to come together peacefully to express their sentiment that the government should drop the lesser charges and pursue real issues within the community. That is my understanding. So let me clear that up.
I appreciate that clarification. And within that clarification, I heard you're actually coming to Louisville before the 25th.
As a matter of fact, the day prior, on the 24th, which is this Saturday, I will be in Louisville. I've been invited to a festival where it'll be a family festival where we'll be shaking hands and kissing babies. Pretty much just kind of socializing with the people the day before. This is no type of an organized protest. This is, from my understanding, the Black family equivalent of the Black Family Reunion or the Black Expo fellowship amongst the community on that Saturday. And then the next day, which is the 25th, is when I'm told there'll be this drop the charges rally.
Understood. Understood. I appreciate that clarification as well. I hope I get the chance to see you again out there. I'm sure I'll be out there live streaming, as I have been. It's been quite a few hundred numbers of days, actually, and I've learned a lot, seen a lot, and experienced a lot. And actually, with that being said, it leads me to my next question. What has been your take of Louisville? You know, you came to Louisville, NFAC came to Louisville on July 25th, 2020, with a certain understanding. And, you know, I was there as you and NFAC stood on those steps at 6th and Jefferson.
4 weeks from today, we gonna come back here and we should have an answer, right? If not, I need y'all to repeat after me. If we don't get the truth, the whole truth, and the motherfucking truth, we are going to burn this motherfucker down. Is it so serious? Make the noise like this.
And what have you grown to learn about Louisville, seen about Louisville? What energy do you get from Louisville as relates to the protests and what it is the protesters are fighting for?
You know, here we are a year later, and I would say that Louisville is another example. They're not separate, but they're part of the bigger picture, a reflection of the environment that we were living in at that time under the past administration, the racial climate in America, and the relationship between law enforcement and the public, and several rather high-profile cases that seem to agitate, as you will say, the temperature. I would say that at that time, given the protesting that was going on, remember we didn't start the protesting. The protesting was well underway. If you remember, protests over the death of Breonna Taylor started on the night of May 28th of 2020. And then, of course, it rolled on from there. I would say in the years since then, looking at all that's happened, it doesn't mean that we've arrived. I don't think that Louisville has figured that they've solved everything. They've still got a lot of work to do. There've been some changes within the government. There've been some changes within the law enforcement structure. There've been some moves made within the judicial system, but the people have had the opportunity to express themselves. And sometimes, let's say that may have gotten a little out of control, but at the end of the day, they were allowed to protest. But have things changed? Have we moved forward? Louisville ranks number 46 in the United States for its homicide rate. If you look at the time last year, a lot of folks would have thought that by now we would have reached some type of equilibrium or understanding within our communities. And it seems to some folks we've gone backwards. To some folks, we haven't moved anywhere at all. And to everyone, there's always hope on the horizon. I think the energy is there, that there is the hope on the horizon, that not just in Louisville, but across America, that because of an awakening, because of a flashpoint like a George Floyd or Breonna Taylor, which Louisville was very instrumental in galvanizing the attention of America and the world, that the energy now is that of expectancy, that there is the possibility now that some things can get done at the community level. I think that's the energy that's on the street. But then again, there's still those old demons that continue to haunt us within our communities and across the world.
Understood. And one key word I heard in that, energy. One of the things that I know that I took away from the march on the 25th in July was I knew who you were directing the words to. I knew who was to receive this message of, you have 4 weeks to get it together and to get the people answers. Who do you want to hear the message of drop the charges? What is this peaceful get together from the public? Who is it directed toward? Who do you want to really be listening in order to effectively drop the charges? From, again, as you said, not only yourself, but the protesters who have gotten charges from protesting.
Well, you have to remember that in the aftermath, prosecutors declined to pursue many of the cases because they concluded that the protesters were exercising their basic civil rights. Cases involving free speech or free assembly rarely succeed in court, and according to your own prosecutors and across the country, that the coronavirus or the COVID-19 pandemic played a key role in a lot of those decisions. So you've got a wave of thousands of minor cases that threaten to capsize the courts. They're already behind dealing with the major cases. So there's a lot of things that, because of the environment, a lot of folks need to understand that you cannot look through the lens of everything is the way it was. We were living in a very unique situation. We had a pandemic going on. Folks were coming out of quarantine. Incidents that had happened were just being found out about. And so, of course, law enforcement and all these other folks, they had their hands full, not to mention their regular caseload. Now that the quarantine has ended, people have been released now, they're trying to get back in front of that. So a lot of these things are trivial. So that the people are saying now, listen, if it's not that serious, let's just go ahead and clear the books. The folks are not out here looting and burning and doing things, believe it or not, under the Biden administration, not saying that it's better, but it's different. Okay, it is not, the temperature is not as turned up as it was before. So the message that I think they'll be sending that weekend is to those folks that have the ability to make the decisions, that to take a serious look and take a common sense approach to a lot of these cases that are sitting on your books, that by dropping these charges would be more beneficial to the public and to themselves, as far as them being able to address more serious matters that deserve the focus of the judicial system than a lot of these things that are burdening the books right now that spun out of that atmosphere last year. I think that's what the message will be, that if those cases, if you look at them and you look at the atmosphere that they were born in, Americans exercising their constitutional right and then getting caught up in the command and control of them trying to control the situation, that those charges need to be dropped. And we've seen a lot of those get dropped, especially in Louisville.
There is no hierarchy of oppressions. I was born Black and a woman.
Louisville police shot and killed 26-year-old Breonna Taylor in her apartment during what her family calls a botched drug raid.
I am trying to become the strongest person I can become, to live the life I have been given, and to help affect change toward a livable future for this earth and for my children. I usually find myself part of some group in which the majority defines me as deviant, difficult, inferior, or just plain wrong.
The 26-year-old was shot and killed March 13th when Louisville police raided her home.
Breonna loves life, and she loved to help people, and she loved a family. She didn't deserve what they did to her.
I have learned that oppression and the intolerance of difference come in all shapes and sizes and colors and sexualities, and that among those of us who share the goals of liberation and a workable future for our children, there can be no hierarchies of oppression.
I was more concerned with her washing her hands than dying at home.
But just after midnight on March 13th, police shot Taylor at least 8 times, killing her in the apartment she shared with her boyfriend, Kenneth Walker.
For wherever oppression manifests itself in this country, Black people are potential victims. I cannot afford to believe that freedom from intolerance is the right of only one particular group, and I cannot afford to choose between the fronts upon which I must battle these forces of discrimination, wherever they appear to destroy me. And when they appear to destroy me, it will not be long before they appear to destroy you.
When you look at these incidences of infractions against the law, and then you compare them against what happened at the Capitol.
Yes.
When you start thinking about, as you said before, you do have the constitutional right to exercise freedom of speech and so forth, but to actually attack and kill, to actually destroy and enter into those places that where the law is made. You're not just disrespecting the laws that are in place at the time, you're disrespecting the very institution of those laws. And that didn't happen in Louisville. That did not happen. So again, if the prosecutors and those folks that have to actually, carry these caseloads would look at the backdrop and look at what their job is, basically to give the people the comfortability to think that the law actually is working in their favor, then it has to be a rule of common sense. And when you're looking at what happened in DC on January the 6th, and then you compare that against everything that happened in Louisville all last year, it doesn't measure up. So there should be now calmer heads that should prevail. There should be now a re-examination of the circumstances, looking through those lenses that would lead these people to make some rather generous decisions to drop those charges.
I'm hoping for it. I certainly am. And I agree with you. It does not measure up when you consider those two scenarios, what happened in Washington and many situations here in Louisville over the past 400 plus days. Actually, I wanted to ask you about, reminded me of my next question, NFAC. Since July 25th, 2020, and a few weeks after, I have not seen much from NFAC, actually, online, YouTube videos and whatnot. What is NFAC still active? Is NFAC still?
I'm glad you asked that question. The NFAC has not conducted a constitutionally empowered assembly or formation since October, when we went to Lafayette, Louisiana. And since then, shortly thereafter, that I encountered the legal system myself.
Yes.
And since that time, I have been working my way through the judicial process at the state and the federal level. And that process is still ongoing. I am hopeful of a positive outcome as I continue to profess my innocence. I too, caught up in that protest wave, so to speak. But I would say that a lot of folks don't realize that the NFAC has not gone away. I think that a lot of folks equated guns to the NFAC when the mission of the NFAC was always threefold. That was to protect the people, that was to educate the people, and that was to grow the people. I'm happy to announce today that the NFAC has re-strategized its direction and is actually about to splinter into about 136 different programs. These programs will be across the country. If you'll bear with me just for a few minutes, I can give you just a few of them off the top of my head. We're now going to enact what's called the NFAC Operation Big Mama. Big Mama will be the NFAC going into a lot of these high-risk neighborhoods, and the women are going to mentor to the women about how to be young mothers, about how to have self-esteem, about how to not let a man equate your value, and so forth. Those things that we used to get in the home. Operation Big Brother, also for the NFAC, coming into those neighborhoods to partner and to teach the young men, not the things like, please don't be a gangbanger, but let me show you how to tie a tie. Let me show you how to shave for the first time. Let me give you some fatherly advice. It's so to give these young men the things that they're not getting at home. We're coming into the communities with the NFAC Trade Apprentice Program, where every one of us has a skill. Everyone has done something that they can teach to someone else. A lot of people don't know how to fill out a job application or speak intelligently or pass a competency test, not because it's their fault, but because of the environment that they live in. So we've all agreed to teach these young people and teach other people all of the trades that we have, whether it's something that you have to be in the apprentice program or whether it's something that I just do and it's a skill that I'm good at. I'll be sharing that with you. We've got the Young Women's Uplift Program, the NFAC Black Education Curriculum Program, the NFAC Nutrition Program that will be coming to your community. Here's a good one, the Reverse Gentrification Project, details forthcoming. And of course, a few others. Some of the ones that I'm more in favor of: CPR training, in your neighborhoods. Swimming classes. For those of you all who don't know how to swim, we've also got the mental illness care pop-up centers that we will be doing in communities across the country. All of these are not ideas. These are programs that we intend to enact within the next.
Give me 1 second, y'all. I don't know why I just cut that off just like that. I just cut it straight off. Hold on, y'all. Give me 1 second. But this is sad, y'all. This man is talking about all these programs of what he's going to do, what he ain't going to do. I know one thing for sure. All these programs will be backed by the white man. All these programs, if he is to get any of them off the ground, none of them will be effective. None of them will create any change. This guy is a pure sellout / clown. The dude is straight up a clown, straight up a sellout, straight up a sellout, and straight up a clown. At the end of the day, we need to wake up, folks. This is the same. This is what you call politics, y'all. This man is selling us a bunch of wolf tickets, a bunch of he's going to do this, he's going to do that. He's not going to do any of that, y'all. Everything that he's talking about has been talked about by many of people. Many of people. It's going to take more than some talk and some we're going to do this, we're going to do that, blah, blah, blah. This is what they do to us as black people. History repeats itself. And what you see is the con artist, the fake leader, is being presented to us again, and we've fallen for it. History truly does repeat itself. The bottom line is, who's willing to learn from history? Who's willing to study history so that your future may have a chance and not repeating what happened as far as the scam, the fake leader? This is not the first time this has happened to our community. This is something that happens a lot, y'all. They put together these black, yeah, you can put it towards the end. Okay. They put all these fake leaders before us, and at the end of the day, we fall for it, and all of them fell us. They all fell us. Nobody's getting nothing done, but they all got the same language. They're going to do this, they're going to build this program. Nobody in the hood is dying from lack of oxygen because they need some CPR. Nobody's in the hood is drowning in swimming pools. This guy's talking about all this shit that don't even matter. He's scared to address the situation that matters, which is black men that's taking a knee to white supremacy, including himself. This guy has fully, he came to Louisville. They built him up to be our leader. Then when they sent the white man to Louisville, which was Viking, they made Grandmaster Jay take a knee to Viking, and Grandmaster Jay did not show up to Ground Zero. Therefore, he displayed the fact that he was submitting to white supremacy right before the whole city of Louisville and the world. This guy is a pawn. And then if you look at him, the way he turns it on and how he's so in character, just listen to him today. I mean, he's damn near perfect, ain't he? Like, he's in character. This dude is a real deal. He's an actor, a real deal actor, y'all. He can act like a gangster. He can act like a politician. He can act like the next civil rights leader. He can act like a rapper. I mean, this guy is a full-fledged actor. I mean, he might be better than Denzel. He might be better than Denzel. Just listen to this clown, y'all. And then y'all wonder why I got a problem with him. Let me play this video, y'all.
And we're not talking about doing it. We're doing it with the communities. You've heard of Habitat for Humanities. We will come into some communities ourselves, and we will grab some old house or some old place, and we'll remodel it, and we'll build it with the community and teach them how to do it. So when we're gone, they can do the next house. We've also got Project Runway, Project Landing Strip, which is one of my favorites. When the individuals come home from prison, when they come home from jail, 9 times out of 10, they end up hanging out with the same people. And they end up going right back into the prison system. So Operation Runway Landing Strip is a program that we've designed that will enable those individuals that we've already tried to mentor to behind bars. Yes, we will have individuals who are qualified to go behind the walls to begin to talk and walk with these folks. And then if they agree, when they come out, we will actually assist them. We will give them training. We will assist them with some form of living to get them on the path to either a job or something constructive, and prevent them, or at least try to prevent them, from falling into recidivism and falling back. This is men and women, and these days, even some of our children. We have the NFAC Community Independence Program, where we're going to teach folks about, listen, if you can't get a job, learn to start your own business. If we show up in your neighborhood with 10 lawnmowers, we get 10 guys off the corner and say, hey, you guys want to make some money? We're going to knock on Miss Jones' door. And when we knock on her door, we're going to say, hey, Miss Jones, would you like us to cut your grass for $5 or $10? And then when we're done, you guys keep those lawnmowers, because now you have a lawnmower business. Now you started a business within our community. Remember the candy lady? Remember the cigarette lady? Remember the popsicle lady? Remember the iceberg lady? All of that was money that stayed within our community. So before you decide to run down to the corner store now, what we're going to be doing is letting people know we used to be self-sufficient within our own communities, and we're going to help people put those together. A lot of people involved are bringing their own businesses to the table, bringing their own expertise to the table, and they're willing to teach and share those with these individuals in these high-risk communities. You have to remember that poverty within Louisville, believe it or not, affects children more than anyone else. And I pulled the statistic that says that child poverty is most concentrated in Louisville's western and downtown neighborhoods. That's very interesting, because when you think of poverty, most folks don't think of just the children being the biggest group, but that's true. So we've got to be able to come back. Again, programs that we're about to enact to change the strategy, and it also increase the visibility of the NFAC within these communities. Remember when you went to school and you got that free lunch in the morning? If you didn't get that free lunch by first period, you had an attitude. Remember the lunches they used to give out at lunchtime in the community centers? The truck would drive up. It was the styrofoam with a soda, a sandwich, and an apple wrapped up. The NFAC is bringing that program back to the best of our abilities. We are in conversation with certain grocery chains to take the excess groceries off of their hands and put them on our own trucks and take them into some of these communities. And this is across the country. These things are being put together as I'm speaking. The community independence, the NFAC CDL training course, firefighter safety course, and I can keep going. The ideas that we're coming up with, what we're putting together, is we've already shown you that we can protect you. Now it's time for us to feed you, teach you, and teach you to lead yourselves. That's just the tip of the iceberg of the new direction that the NFAC is going into. And I'm very excited because I've spoken to just about all of the chapters that we have so far. I've been talking for the last 4 days. We've really been ramping this thing up. We need folks to understand that last year, it was about showing us how to defend ourselves. They say Tamika Mallory started the Me Too movement. They say that Grandmaster Jay and the NFAC started the pull-up movement. Well, everybody seems to have that now. You saw what happened in Jersey. They're all pulling up right now, Maxwell. As a matter of fact, everybody's pulling up these days. A young man pulled up to me the other day on a big wheel. He just pulled up. So we know that that's in effect. But now we've got to work with our folks in the communities together, hand in hand. That is the new strategy of the NFAC. If you are a member and you're hearing this for the first time, I would advise you to consult with your commander, because we will also be publishing this entire project schema to the public so they will know what it is that we're doing. I hope I've answered your question.
You certainly did. And I do have a follow-up question. You had stated that this is already happening as we're speaking. When can the community, specifically the community in Louisville, look forward to seeing some of these programs start, or where can they go to figure out more? Either how can they can get involved, or figure out when it is going to start being in effect in certain areas, certain communities in Louisville?
Individuals who are interested in participating in any of the programs or partaking in any of the programs that I've just named can simply send their information and request further information at info@blacknfac.com. Or they can also request the membership application, which is what we now do, to become a member of the NFAC, to be a part of one of those programs. If you notice, a lot of those programs have nothing to do with weapons. A lot of those have nothing to do with the things that you've seen us do before in the past. These are truly community help and assistance programs. So whatever skill you bring to the table is what we will be interested in. And whatever help you think you may need, we will be more than willing to try to assist you.
It sounds like not only just one wonderful program, but a series of wonderful programs. I look forward to seeing how those go, whether it takes off, and the positive effect it's going to have on the community. Grandmaster Jay, thank you for taking the time to sit down with me today. Before we do wrap up, I do want to ask, is there anything else you'd like to add or ask?
Well, the first thing I'd like to say is I would like to thank the city of Louisville for being Louisville. That's all I can say. You're unique. You're a unique animal, and a lot of folks thought they had you figured out, but you got the attention of the world, and you gave a lot of other folks the backbone to not quit when they thought that there was nothing they could do to get their local government to listen to them. I would also like to publicly thank each and every one of you all who has supported me through your donations to the Grandmaster Jay Legal Defense Fund, which has helped me mount my defense against to prove my innocence. And I would also like to say that I look forward to the day when all of us can look back and remember these as the times that we got ourselves together and stood up as a community. We may not all get there at the same time, but we'll all get there eventually. Maxwell, I want to thank you for your time, and I look forward to seeing you in Louisville.
I look forward to seeing you there as well, sir. And that's in Louisville, July 25th. What time and location will this start? Where will this be?
I'm not the one controlling that. I don't know that as yet. I'm a customer to the process. If I know, I'd be telling you right now, but I'm letting you know that as you came in doing rumor control, that's as much as I know. And I'm still waiting for the details myself. But you'll know when I know. Is that fair?
It is fair, and just an answer I had hoped and I thought I would hear. Grandmaster Jay, you have yourself a wonderful evening, and thank you again for taking the time.
Thank you. Shalom, my brother. Thank you.
Shalom. Everyone, this is Stay Live Streams. Again, Maxwell Mitchell here. We just sat down with Grandmaster Jay of NFAC. And until the next time, if you do nothing else, stay live.
Put him on. Sad, y'all. Man, that it frustrates me to a whole nother level, but I'm not gonna get into it. I'm gonna keep myself together right now. But at the end of the day, folks, it's sickening, y'all. It's sickening. Then you hear him mention the name Tamika D. Mallory, which is very rare. Him and Tamika D. Mallory, they stay far away from speaking on each other publicly and critiquing each other, which is very, very weird and random. But at the end of the day, what he just said and the picture he tried to paint about Louisville and what's going on here, I need y'all to understand, when it comes to the city of Louisville and the Breonna Taylor case and politics, we've got nothing accomplished here, y'all. Absolutely zero. But yet they just painted the picture like we've gotten so much accomplished and so much done. We've got nothing accomplished, y'all. Absolutely zero accomplished. But at the end of the day, I showed y'all the video of Grandmaster Jay. What I want to do is I want to show this video of Morgan again, because the question is, how is Maxwell Mitchell landing these interviews with these accusations of people, white, black, you name it, different females all throughout the city of Louisville claiming that this man raped them? How is it possible?
So,
Jay addressed this situation. Why didn't Grandmaster Jay ask him on behalf of the culture, the city, and on behalf of women, black women? What's the deal with you and Morgan? Did you get that worked out? What's up with these rape accusations? And if Grandmaster Jay don't know about it, how is that possible? Because I know he watches me. He's already admitted to me that he watches me. I got recordings of him telling me that he watches me a lot. So how did he miss this story?
all right, everyone. So I'm here to address through live stream because that seems to be the tactic that a lot of people are using, particularly today, to silence the voices of survivors within our community. And so I'm going live because it's been brought to my attention that people apparently need to see my face in order to claim or take any, I guess this is proof that there are victims out there saying that there's an abuser that's been within our midst. So I'm making this video because I'm putting my face as a victim of Maxwell Mitchell. I've been coming out publicly for months, way before this movement had even started.
2020.
There have been numerous claims that myself and many survivors who are out there, who have come forward, are lying. Our stories are discredited because we didn't call the police. And just to state, like I stated earlier, if you're going to be in this movement and you're going to fight for injustice and against police brutality, and then turn and look at a survivor, especially a black survivor, and say that your story is only credible if you call the police, then you shouldn't be on the front lines of this movement. I also want to say that it's also come to my attention that we have people within our community, particularly people who are advocates for survivors of sexual violence, who say that they won't believe our story or have credit to it unless we sit down with them and tell them to their face of what we experienced. I've been an advocate for years, and I'll tell you right now that I don't need to sit down in front of anybody and have a face-to-face conversation and tell them this is what happened to me for you to believe me. I don't practice that way as an advocate. I don't appreciate anyone that practices that way as an advocate. So if you need me to sit down with you and tell you what's happened to me, or if you need my face to tell you that I'm a survivor of this person that you've been supporting, then here it is. If there's a reason that I'm not coming to you and sitting down with you and having a conversation with you about the abuse that I've experienced, it's not my problem. There's probably a reason why I don't feel comfortable or feel welcome to sit down with you in that space. But hear this, we as survivors don't have to make this video, we don't have to make posts, we don't have to call the police, and we don't have to sit down with you in order for you to know or hear us that we are survivors of sexual abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse for someone who's been live streaming in our city and been taking much credit, seen as a hero. That person's Maxwell Mitchell. You all know who it is. I'm tired of people acting like, what's going on? Sorry, I had a phone call. You all know what's going on. We've been saying it for months. This is not news. So the reason, again, that I'm making this video is because apparently this is what we have to do to call survivors out, to say you are not trusted, you are a liar because you haven't sat down with me in person. This is my face. I'm putting a face to the things that's happened to me. I don't need to sit down with you and talk to you. If you have questions about what I've experienced or questions as to why any of us are holding people accountable in this city for not listening to survivors and for silencing us, you can ask me directly. What I will tell you is that, as many people have said over the last couple of days, all eyes are on Louisville. When they say, and when I say all eyes are on Louisville, it's not just because what we're doing downtown. There are a lot of other things that are going on. There's a lot of other people in our community who are supporting abusers. And when we say that all eyes are on Louisville, we're watching you. I also want to address that no one in any way that has been supporting us as survivors has come out and physically threatened any other person. What I will say is that we have people who have threatened us. We have people who say that they're going to do this, this, and this if we want to speak up, if we want to get louder. You all, if survivors are being told that if they keep speaking up, they're going to be threatened to have either physical abuse used against them, throwing out EPOs, throwing out court, if that's the tactic people are using, then again, why do you think that we're trying to be silenced? That's not the response that you give to survivor, and that's not a response that you give as an advocate. So this is me putting my face to it. You can see my face. I'm not scared of you seeing my face. I'm a victim of Maxwell Mitchell. I will not apologize for coming public, of being a victim of Maxwell Mitchell. I'm not going to sit here and say, yeah, I didn't call the police. I am going to say I didn't call the police. Correct. But as I don't maybe have the paper proof that this happened to me, I have numerous times that I came forward and told somebody that was happening to me. And if you're going to sit there and say that you stand with women and that you believe survivors, then prove it. I'm tired of people saying that we're all eyes are on Louisville and celebrating people who have turned us down, who have silenced us, and who have not supported us. It's disgusting. And please understand, for the millionth time, you will be held accountable. This community is going to be held accountable. All eyes are on Louisville. All eyes are on Louisville. Choose the right side of history. That's it.
Give me 1 second, y'all. That right there, y'all, to me, it's alarming. You know what's crazy about this whole situation? As I sit back and I watch Kwame Brown, and thank God for Kwame Brown, he's breaking down the go along, get along game that he know of. And he told that story of the young lady that was allegedly raped by Charlemagne, and how she had to live in fear because this guy Charlemagne the God was on the radio every single day and all over TV and all over the internet, and this girl had to see this guy randomly. You might be riding in a car, hear his voice. I'll be surfing the internet, and you see this guy. It's the same thing with Morgan. As you see this lady, she lives here locally in Louisville. She looks on the internet. Maxwell's covering all these stories. Maxwell's all on the news. Maxwell's all in the middle of the protests. And she's sitting back, just watching a guy that got away with raping her. From the way she tells the story, he raped her, in her opinion, or, as far as her story. And she has to see this guy all over the TV, being appreciated by all walks of people, standing with the next, what's supposed to be the next Martin Luther King, the next Malcolm X, GMJ, the biggest con artist of the century, standing with this guy, doing interviews. I mean, this is crazy, y'all. This is crazy. And the city of Louisville is embracing this stuff. And it's not just Maxwell. When you break down all the 502 live streamers, you break these people down. You break down Maxwell Mitchell. There's a lot of red flags there. Accusations of rape. You break down Summer Dickerson. There's a shitload of red flags there. Accusations of being a meth head, a junkie, a person that's involved in human trafficking and murders and porn and all types of other stuff. Just whatever you can name it with Summer. You break down Reinhardt, Jason motherfucking Downey. Y'all let a white boy. This is how much of a shit show was going on in Louisville. Y'all let a white boy who was playing the role of a cameraman, a live streamer, change his middle name to motherfucker, which comes from slavery. That is a slave motherfucker. That is a slave name. That's a slave. That's a nickname for the slave master. You motherfucker. And he changed his name. And then I watched black people celebrate as he changed his name to motherfucker. His middle name, Jason motherfucking Downey. Shitload of red flags there with him. Shell Wolfo, Antonio, all of them. There's so many more. Maxwell, I can name them. Tara Bassett. I mean, there's red flags with all of them, and they're all connected. They're all connected to nothing but just evil shit. And I can prove it. And I'll have a show where I break down the Louisville 502 live streamers and the people who is, controlling the narrative. I'm going to break that all the way down. Like I said, Maxwell Mitchell, who is one of the main 502 live streamers, he was right there when Sam Aguiar called me when I recorded the phone call. He was right there listening. He never told anyone about it. Never aired it. I never told nobody. Never co-signed, never said, yeah, I heard it. I was right there, supposed to be going on an interview with him. I offered to pay him $10 a minute when he was doing live streams for free. I said, I'll pay you $10 a minute so I can get this information out to the people. He wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it. Then Sam Aguiar called me right there. Called me right there. Maxwell heard that phone call. He was right there with me, y'all. And the sad thing about it is this guy's supposed to be Mr. Breaking News, Mr. Get Y'all the Truth. And this man told y'all absolutely nothing. I will be earning the phone call of me and Sam Aguiar. What exactly happened with that situation, I will be earning probably sometime in the next couple of days. Like I said, I got a format I've been trying to stick to. I broke my format today and gave y'all this Grandmaster Jay. Just a chess move, nothing major, but just to break the ice with Grandmaster Jay. No, there's a bigger and better story coming as far as Grandmaster Jay. But I'm getting familiar with StreamYard. This was a great show where I got to get some practice. My girl had to come in and assist me a few times because I don't know nothing about this stuff. This YouTube StreamYard, it's not my thing. Thank God for her helping me out because God knows the show would have been completely black Without her, it would have been blank. When the computer went out, it would have been out if it wasn't for her. She came and got me together, so I appreciate that, babe. At the end of the day, man, I hope y'all, tell a friend, a family member about this page, because this is going to be the Game of Thrones when it comes to YouTube and the Breonna Taylor case. I got a lot more to offer other than Breonna Taylor, and I will give y'all some of my wisdom, knowledge, and understanding here and there. But I have a goal, I have an agenda, I have a purpose, and it's to get Breonna Taylor justice, along with myself and so many others in Louisville, Kentucky, that have been locked up and put in prison off the back of the corruption that's going on here. Fake search warrants and crooked cops, crooked lawyers, pastors, politicians, and protesters, all full of corruption, have participated in these things, politicians, etc., you name it. And my goal is to get, Breonna Taylor justice, get myself justice, and get these people out of prison that ain't supposed to be in prison, and get these people out of position that they're in as far as these high powers in my city and state, and these high powers that's pulling these strings, that's controlling these puppets that are carrying out their white supremacy agenda. So please bear with me as I grow and continue to get better on YouTube. Just know my research is really stellar. The haters are going to be here. I welcome them. One thing about me, y'all, I won't delete nobody's comments. I will let people say whatever they want in the comment section, but because at the end of the day, I believe in letting people voice their lies or voice their truth. At the end of the day, one thing I do know, my truth is going to stand on top every single time when it comes to the liars, when it's all said and done. My truth might not mean nothing to you right now, but when it's all said and done, my truth is it's gonna stand tall. It's gonna stand tall. People here locally in Louisville, they've watched all my haters. They stumble and they fail. They watched this. Just pay attention, folks. GMJ and so many others. Tamika D. Mallory, Benjamin Crump. It's so many of them out there. Daniel Cameron, Lonita Baker. David James. There's so many people with the same color skin as us that's participating and carrying out white supremacy agendas. But they met their match when it comes to me. God's using me to get this truth out. God's using me to be brave and take on this pipeline of corruption and tear down the walls of racism. We got to watch GMJ's videos. When it comes to GMJ, I know y'all wondering, how do I truly feel about him? I will say this, man. If I can give GMJ anything, I would give him this. He deserves this. GMJ deserves this. If I ever see him, I'm going to give him this. Because this man is a hell of an actor. I mean, a hell of an actor. This guy deserves this. This man has done nothing but fool people dating back 6 years ago. Just a full-fledged actor. And he deserves it. He'll never get my respect, but he'll get this Oscar. I promise you that. At the end of the day, folks, I thank y'all for tuning in. Sorry about the late night show. But I love being up late like this because you know what? All my haters that's in the comment section, they're losing sleep. So at the end of the day, it feels good to make the haters lose sleep. Once again, on this platform, I won't be deleting any comments. People are going to hate. They're going to make up lies and stories about me. It's all good, folks. That's what it's like when you are trying to do what I'm doing and walking in the shoes that I'm walking in. You're going to get attacked. They're going to lie on you. They're going to reach out to bitter people that you know and get people to say this and say that about you. It's all good. Because at the end of the day, my God's powerful. My truth is powerful. And at the end of the day, my truth is going to trump their lies and their rumors and their stories all day long. And I love it, man. I love it because I got the haters mad. I got them mad, y'all. But more importantly, I got y'all attention, the people who seeking truth. And I promise, as long as you stay tuned in on this channel, I will get you the whole truth. I promise you. I promise you, folks. Just stay tuned.